You don't have to be a minimalist to create a space that's streamlined and pleasing to the eye. There are practical ways that you can reduce visual clutter in your home, and in this video, I'm going to guide you through 7 different ways to do so. Through multiple bedroom makeovers in the past and a complete renovation of the condo that we currently live in, I've really come to learn just how much our environment impacts our mental health. After a busy, stressful, or even a great day, the space that I walk into at the end of it immediately affects my mood. So depending on its state, it has the power to calm me down and help me relax, but it also has the power to feed any anxiety and overwhelm that I'm already feeling. So these are the practical strategies that we use in our own home to minimize visual clutter and ensure that our living areas support rest and rejuvenation. If you're ready to streamline your own space, then keep watching and don't skip out on number 7 because it's definitely the key to maintaining a clutter-free environment day after day. Let's get started. Visual clutter typically consists of items that are actually useful, but are left out after our initial decluttering efforts. For example, think of the paperwork on your dining room table, hair tools left on the bathroom counter, even shoes scattered at the front door. When these items lack a designated home, they tend to float around our living areas, and they contribute to a visual stimuli that overwhelms our spaces and us. So by assigning each item a specific spot to reside, you can cultivate an environment that helps support the habit of returning items to their rightful places. When we walk into the door of our condo, there is a bowl for our keys and a basket for my handbags and, grocery bags, things like that. If I receive an important document in the mail, I have a binder with categorized tabs to organize everything. And we also have one section in our media unit for games and another for painting. The list goes on. Having these designated spots significantly reduces the likelihood of things being left out in the open longer than they need to be, or even just being shoved into random places because they have that spot to return to at the end of their use. It applies to items of all sizes, from kitchen appliances to pens and pencils, and it really helps to foster an environment that's organized and stress-free. A cohesive color palette in any space enhances visual continuity and balance. So whether you favor neutrals like I do or prefer bold colors and patterns, there's always a way to create a sense of harmony in your space by being selective about the colors and patterns that you incorporate. This approach definitely helps to minimize visual distractions and create a sense of spaciousness through its streamlined appearance. Neutrals are known for their calming effects, hence all of the neutrals in our own home, but so are colors like blue and green, so don't feel pressured here to stray away from the colors that you really love, because there's always a way to make them work in a way that is relaxing and also restorative in your space. Choosing colors that resonate with your personal tastes can help to elevate your mood on a daily basis simply by creating an environment that's actually enjoyable for you to live in. While I'm not an interior designer, I have found a few helpful videos on this topic, so I'll link them down below for you. Utilizing white space effectively is key to minimizing visual clutter in our home, from leaving walls blank to ensuring that there's space between objects on shelves. By giving items room to breathe, with space around them, it's a very simple yet effective way to prevent a cluttered look. In our condo, we have 2 large empty walls where I've considered for a long time hanging up artwork or even just adding additional furniture pieces to fill that empty space. But after taking a step back, I've realized that the emptiness in itself adds value. It directs attention, both ours and our guests, to a select few focal points and therefore prevents visual distraction. I've extended this concept throughout our entire home for pretty much all of the surfaces. In the kitchen, for instance, we only keep our espresso machine out on the countertop. All of the other appliances are stored in the cabinets and just kind of hidden away so that the countertop is preserved primarily for food preparation rather than storage. I also rotate decorative objects on the shelves behind me and also in other areas of our home so that I can, have a curated selection at any given moment. This approach not only maintains a clean aesthetic, but it allows me to refresh the space periodically. And it really, I think, helps me appreciate what I have already in my own collection. Arranging a group of items on a surface can sometimes appear scattered and lacking cohesion. However, when they are placed on a tray, a dish, or stacked with a book, it anchors them together and creates a sense of unity and purpose in their placement. This method not only enhances visual appeal, but it also makes the arrangement more satisfying to look at and easier to process at quick glance. What's better is that it also adds a practical element of organization by keeping like items together, and a bonus here is that it makes cleaning and maintenance of the space so much easier as well. There's nothing worse than a tangled mess of cords. Actually, there is a tangled mess of cords that is out in the open for everybody to see. To manage this, all you really need are some rubber bands or even the bread closures that you get on a bag of bread at the grocery store. You don't have to go out and buy fancy trinkets. They are great, but if you don't have the budget for that or you just simply can't be bothered, just use what you've got on hand. I definitely have been doing that in our own home. And for small electronics like the Echo Show that we have in the kitchen, for example, it's easy enough to just tie the excess cord together and tuck it behind the electronic. If the outlet that you're using in any given space is a little bit farther from the electronic that you're actually displaying, then you can use things like cutting boards, trays. You can also use larger vases to conceal those cords. The idea here is basically just to make sure that the cords are neat and tidy rather than bunched up in a mess. Nightstands can benefit from a little hook to manage and organize the cords that you might have there and just keep them readily accessible. And when it comes to TVs, you can get a cord cover to cover up whatever things you've got hanging if your TV is mounted, but you can also feed the cords through a hole in the drywall and lead them directly to the plug maybe below your TV media unit. For our TV, we have a mount that actually pulls out and can swivel, so it's a little bit difficult for us to feed that cord unless we get an extension. So we have most of the cords that are being used concealed within the media unit, and that's just the best that we can do with what we have. For desk areas, there are definitely some affordable cord organizers out there. I believe IKEA sells one if you're looking for like a budget-friendly option. Amazon would probably have something as well, but it's essentially just getting all of those cords organized and shoved away, just kind of hidden from plain sight so that they're less obvious when you walk into the space. In our home, the bedroom is our sanctuary, so it is definitely a place where we actively avoid visual clutter, but especially on our nightstands. These surfaces are the last ones that we see before we go to sleep, so keeping them clutter-free is absolutely crucial for a good night's rest and just to wind down at the end of a long day. We're fortunate to have drawers to neatly tuck away our belongings, but if that's not an option for you and you have more of an open concept, or you basically just have a stool, something like a basket with a lid could help you conceal whatever it is that you want to have beside your bed, and it can also add some visual appeal to the space as well. Maintaining a clutter-free home is really important to us, and the most effective way that we achieve this is by restoring order at the end of the day. This routine involves putting away dishes from the drying rack in the kitchen, tidying up our daughter's toys in the living room, and even just putting away random items to their designated spots. This nightly ritual has definitely become second nature to me, and it not only helps me unwind to, get to bed in the evening, but it also sets the stage for a smoother morning routine the following day, which is definitely very helpful with a 1-year-old in our house. I'd love to know if you have any strategies of your own for minimizing visual clutter in your space. If you do, feel free to comment them down below. And if you're craving more ideas on how to maintain a clean and clutter-free home, I have a video where I share 10 tiny habits that help us do exactly that in our own space, so you can watch that up here if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.